Welcome to the MixedTV.tv High School Football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan. I'm your host, Ryan Lovelace, joined by Derek Morris, Brittany Jackson-Tucker, and Drew Linus. Guys, last week was a fun opening week. We had rivalries, great games, big wins, anything you could ask for. So just your initial impressions, week one of college football, or high school football, that is. Drew, you're wearing the Walker Valley shirt. You guys picked up a win. What are your initial impressions so far?
Yeah, it was fun. It was, it was good for our guys to get that win under their belt. Our players and coaches were excited this week at practice. I stopped by and watched, you got to talk to them a little bit, and it was fun for them. I saw a little bit of the Cleveland Red Bank game, which was a high power for those guys, and it was awesome to see. Just football be back and in the area, and we know it'll be around. College football starting this weekend, so it's going to be around now till January. So it's good that it's finally here.
Yeah, Brittany, you said last time you loved being able to wear the Bradley colors, and Bradley shined last week. Big win over Brainerd. How excited are you that football is finally back?
We did. It's exciting. I learned to let maybe not that bad. I had a winning record on my picks, so that was good to know. But yeah, it's just great to be football season. The weather's getting we're getting a little bit cooler weather, and that comes with that. But exciting game. Like I said, I saw the Cleveland Red Bank game, and it was an exciting game all the way to the end. But I lost that pick, so it's fun. It's fun just to see. You never know. High school sports, I don't care what it is. You never know. Whoever comes to play that night, that's who's going to win. Yeah. So it's exciting. And Derek,
you're wearing the Cleveland stuff. Not the best game for Cleveland last week, but you weren't with us. You were coaching the middle school team. So,
right.
You sort of have a different sort of perspective about football. You've been in middle school football. How's that season been going?
Middle school season's going really well. Our boys, 8th grade, are 2-1. They beat Dalton that night. You guys were in the heat for 30 minutes. I was out there for about 5 hours. But no, it's good to see, just the amount of hours and days these kids put in preparation-wise. So it's great to see them to be able to put that on the field and go against each other. And Cleveland had a rough week last week. We know that, but it's a long season, so he'll bounce back this week.
That's the beauty of high school sports. Like you said, anybody can beat anybody, and like you said, it's a long season. Week one doesn't define you, especially when it's not a district matchup.
Right.
But enough of week one. We're going to dive right into week two. We have 8 matchups we're going to preview right fast before the break, and then we're going to talk about the big one, Bradley and Walker Valley, and then Cleveland. They're hosting Mcminn County. 2 big games. We'll talk about that after the break. But first, jumping right in, Baylor. They are traveling up to Endsworth. Baylor, they're ranked 4th in D2 AAA. Endsworth is ranked 3rd in D2 AAA, so a big top 5 matchup earlier the year. Both these teams won their week 1 opener. Baylor won over Raven Gap 38-21, and then Endsworth shut out Evangelical Christian 44-0. Baylor, they got a new coach, Eric Kimry. He coached in South Carolina for a while. He was in the college ranks. They brought in Chris Brown from Red Bank. They're looking to make a big splash this year, and beating Endsworth would be on the road at Endsworth would be a great way to make that splash. Meanwhile, Endsworth, big 44-0 win. They lost to Baylor twice last year in the regular season, and Baylor ended their season in the playoffs. So looking for a little bit of revenge in this top 5 matchup. It is going to be a good one. That is at 7 o'clock on Friday.
And the next matchup is Macaulay at Woodward Academy. And at Macaulay, of course, always with the high expectations they've got with that program's history, but won last week against Chattanooga Christian, 28-7. So didn't blow them out as I expected, but came out with a win. They're 12 overall, again coming off a state championship. So they've always got a target on their back, and so I think that's something that they just always have to come out playing their A game. And I think Woodward Academy on the other end, hey, they've got some studs. They got a kid going to Clemson. They've got a kid going a Duke commit, and then also Florida. Mm-hmm. So, John Hunt, former NFL coach, I feel like this is going to be a pretty good matchup. They're going to give Macaulay a run for their money, and, anybody can win.
Yeah, of course.
The next matchup, little East Hamilton versus Heritage, a little cross-state game here. East Hamilton is coached by Grant Reynolds. They got the big rivalry win last week over Ottawa, 52-21. They dealt with a little bit of adversity last week. Their quarterback, Lake Clark, hurt his knee in practice earlier in the week, and Juan Bullard stepped up, played quarterback for him last week, and had a great game. Ran for 246 yards and threw for 81 in the big win over Ottawa. Against Heritage, the Heritage is coached by E.K. Slaughter, and so you Cleveland people know E.K.'s name from way back when. I actually coached with E.K. in 2008 when I was at Saudi Daisy, and so he's been a lifelong friend of mine. He's got his hands full with this game against East Hamilton. Heritage had a big win last week over their crosstown rival, Ringgold, 31-17, and they're looking to continue things rolling in a positive direction here in week 2. They were 6-5 last year, lost in the first round of the playoffs. They're led by Caden Swope, Paxton McCrary, and Tyler Cheatwood.
All right, the next game is Sweetwater Wildcats. They get to travel to Rockwood, Tennessee. I'm assuming it's Tennessee.
It is.
Sweetwater, they got off to a big start last week. Got up 15-0 to Megs before they ended up losing late. Landon Board threw for 140 yards while they rushed for 230 as a team. So they got some high-powered offense. They have a lot of returning upperclassmen. So it's going to be a seasoned team. But, traveling on the road to the number 17 ranked in 2A football on these small towns is always a tough matchup for anybody.
Yeah, that's a big one. And another small town game. Polk County will travel to Sequoia tomorrow night at 7:30. Polk County, they picked up a win last week to sort of restart the second coming of Derek Davis after he took 3 years off. Derek Davis, very successful at Polk County. That's win number 124 for him at Polk, and he's looking for 125 against a Sequoia team that has not won a game since September 21st of 2018. That is, they have lost 34 straight games. Last week, they came close. They were up 21-0 at Tellico Plains before Tellico Plains stormed back to score 27 unanswered. Their quarterback, Cooper Self, threw for 3 touchdowns. So the offense is looking good for Sequoia. This is a different Sequoia team. I don't think they're going to go 0-10 again this year, but Polk County, it's a different team. 4-6 overall last year, but under Derek Davis, Polk County has been very successful. It's going to be an exciting matchup. Benton will travel well up to Sequoia, and that game's at Sequoia at 7:30 tomorrow night.
Also, matchup at Silverdale with Franklin County. Silverdale got a huge win last week against East Ridge, won 42-27. So we talked about it last week. It's really important for them to get a lot of momentum here early, get some wins, and carry that into the season. The first couple, 5 or 6 teams they play had losing seasons last year. So I think they're really going to try to take advantage of that and get some wins early, especially led by Brett Rogers, their quarterback. Also, Franklin Road Academy. Don't know much about Franklin Road Academy. I'm being honest about it, but they do have a stud offensive line who's committed to Mississippi State. So I'm sure he's the leader of that team, and Coach Justin Geisinger, who is his first year here at Franklin Road Academy. So I think they're gonna have to come out, and it's gonna be a tough one for them. But Silverdale, really coming off a lot of momentum. So I think it'll be a tough one for Franklin Road.
Yeah. And next game, we got Mcminn Central against Tellico Plains. Mcminn Central looking to bounce back from their tough loss last week to Mcminn County. I'm sure Coach Matt Moody did not expect things to go south like that in week 1, but he's got a chance to bounce back this week against Bobby Lamb's Tellico Plains team. Mcminn Central just couldn't get things going last week offensively, and obviously they gave up some points, which you kind of get that bad taste out of your mouth going into week 2. Tellico Plains did get their first win of the year last year, and Bobby White's first win at Tellico Plains in their 27-21 win over Sequoia. A little bit about Tellico Plains: they were 3-7 overall last year and missed the playoffs. But Omar Miller, the quarterback, led the comeback win against Sequoia last week for Tellico Plains. But look for the Chargers to get back on track this week.
All right, well, I got Ooltewah at Red Bank. Coach Linus there got fired from talking about Red Bank by his family, so I have to do it now. But no, Ooltewah has a lot of explosive athletes. They struggled against East Hamilton, but quarterback Josh Davis is a senior. It's always good to have a senior quarterback. Dakota Jones looks like he's FBS material. A lot of explosive guys on the outside. But as we saw last week with Red Bank, it's a tough team. And at Red Bank, coached by my buddy Ted Gatewood, who I worked with for years, they force 5 turnovers, and Gatewood will do one thing. He's going to pound the ball in the middle and make you stop it. And so far, Cleveland didn't stop him. We'll see if Ooltewah can this week.
Yeah, we got 8 great games coming up. No Thursday night games. These are all tomorrow night, Friday night, and we're all excited for it. But we're going to talk about some big ones coming up. Cleveland hosting Mcminn County. Obviously, that's a big rivalry game. We've seen a lot of that. And then Bradley and Walker. I I know we may have some mixed feelings about this one if I just look to my
How did we
look
get to
over and
stand
see
by
the
each
shirt.
other this week? They should have split us up this
That
week.
was planned.
Planned.
He came in and goes, we should make Brittany stand by
Yeah.
Drew because of the shirts.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about that matchup after the break. You were watching the MixedTV.tv high school football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan, and we will be right back to talk about it after this quick break.
We're here at Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland.
We are here with great service.
We're here. We're here.
We're here.
We're here with great deals.
We're here for you.
So come get huge Nissan savings when you shop Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland and Cleveland-Nissan today. Home of the exclusive lifetime warranty.
L&B Appliance is your one-stop appliance shop and HVAC dealer. Locally owned and operated, serving this area for over 30 years. They offer sales and service. L&B Appliance, located on Durkee Road at Highway 64 in Cleveland, 423-339-3231. L&B Appliance, large enough to meet all your home appliance needs, small enough to appreciate your business.
The ability to try a criminal case in front of a jury is one of the most important skills a lawyer can have. Make sure you hire a lawyer that can do it. The law offices of Stephen Hatchett are here for your criminal needs in Athens, Cleveland, and surrounding areas. Contact their offices at 423-290-7698 or message them at facebook.com/Hatchett Law.
So, Lynn, tell me about your experience at Chattanooga Auto Square.
We have been thrilled with the service, and we wouldn't dream of shopping anywhere else.
They take the time to show you everything and work with you. The salespeople there were excellent.
It's been good working with them and also with the people in service.
I'm sure he lives here.
And that is correct.
Chattanooga Auto Square. Luxury lives here.
Hands. You might think they're just for waving, but they can be used for all kinds of things, like making made-from-scratch biscuits at Hardee's.
Bite into the new 2 for $5 breakfast deal only at Hardee's.
Football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan. I'm your host Ryan Lovelace, still joined by Derek Morris, Brittany Jackson Turner, and Drew Linus. And guys, we're going to talk about the two big games in Bradley County this week. First, we're going to talk about Cleveland hosting Mcminn County. Two very different stories for this team last week. Cleveland, they lost a tough one at home to Red Bank. Meanwhile, Mcminn dominated Mcminn Central. So I think first we need to dive into sort of the Cleveland game and just Drew, I know you talked about how you watched some of the game. What went wrong for Cleveland in that second half?
When warm-ups were going on, I felt Cleveland was locked in. I didn't feel like Red Bank was, and I was like, man, I think this game could go. Like, I think Cleveland could really come out on top. The problem was, that I felt like that went wrong for Cleveland. They got stopped on fourth down right there by the goal line, and I think it just kind of took some energy out of them, and I think it kind of just like it brought them down a little bit. And then they had a turnover, and then there was, it was kind of a couple of mistakes, and it just kind of compounded from there. And Red Bank just capitalized on those mistakes, and I think those little things just kind of added up and just got to them. And I'm sure Coach Wheeler, I'm sure they had a good week.
He was not happy.
Yeah,
I saw up close how unhappy he was.
But I'm sure they've had a good week of practice, trying to get things back on track and securing the ball and working on those little things. Yeah. But I just felt like, those things went wrong early on in the first half, and that kind of just took the energy and the wind kind of out of them, and it's just hard to bounce back from that.
And just talking about that last drive, the sort of Cleveland, they had a chance to run out the clock in the first half. They end up fumbling. It's recovered by Red Bank. They end up scoring a touchdown to go into the locker room. So a big swing there.
Yeah, that's never fun.
Yeah.
I mean, in any sport, especially you got your mind made up, like, hey, we're going to take things slow right here, and then that happens, and now all of a sudden we got the halftime adjustments are got to change, and it's tough.
Yeah. And Brittany, you've played sports a while. I mean, how hard is it to sort of you'll be feeling good going into halftime. All of a sudden, something like that happens, and your whole just mindset changes going into halftime. Does that sort of fester over the break? I mean,
well, as a
what is
player,
it like?
You dread going in that halftime.
Yeah.
But you know, as Drew mentioned, that's something that you really got to credit that they took advantage of that. They capitalized on Cleveland's mistakes, and that's something that, you know, it's just important when you go into halftime. Coach gets you ready. You come back out with a different mindset, and you know, that's just Cleveland didn't get it done. But I think that, like we talk about this week and coming into tomorrow's night's games, I think you really got to come out strong. And I think that's just with attitude. They've got some strong leaders there, you know, and they're seniors. And so, but yeah, when you go in at halftime and you got to get revamped and come back out, and Cleveland just wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. And Derek, I know you probably didn't get a chance to watch the game as you were coaching a game, but what's sort of the outlook for Cleveland coming into this big game against McMinn County?
Well, you know, Cleveland's always been very they get emotional, and when it's going well, it goes really well. And when sometimes it goes bad, it goes bad. You got a lot of seniors that are out there now that weren't necessarily the man last year, and so now they're the man. So there's that learning curve. They had to replace a lot of linebackers. But I do think Cleveland will bounce back just because, you know, they got hit in the mouth, and it was like Drew said, it wasn't they just got outbeat, they beat themselves. So those are things that are fixable in practice, and nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to go out there and have lay another egg in front of your home fans. So I think they'll bounce back and be ready to go this week for sure.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough to bounce back against McMinn County. We mentioned the big 50-0 win over McMinn Central, and Drew, on this show we're Matt Moody fans, but man, just McMinn County domination, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bo Kegel's been there a long time, and they've won some games. You know, there's been very rarely do they have like a rough season. It's just kind of, they're very consistent, and you know, Bo Kegel lives off that momentum, and I mean, I'm sure he's preaching to those guys this week about like, hey, like Cleveland's going to be ready, we got to be ready too, and they want to carry that 50-0 win into this week, you know. And if Bo Kegel and McMinn County can score 50 points again, they'll do it. And I don't think that'll be the case, obviously, but I feel that that they'll be ready to hopefully go to 2-0 and put that stamp on their early part of their season.
So, Derek, you kind of talked about sort of that, it's emotional. How, as just from a coach's standpoint, do you sort of get rid of those emotions and get focused for this game against McMinn if you're Cleveland?
Well, the biggest thing is in an emotional game, you got to play emotional, but you got to learn to put the emotions to the side and focus on what you have to do. So it's really that balance of finding that. And, of course, McMinn's strength has played to Cleveland's weakness the last couple of years, which is that power run game. So there'll be adjustments made, and it's one of those, I think, if Cleveland can make some plays early, I think that momentum will carry them through the game, and it'll be at least tight through 4 quarters and see what happens from there.
And I mean, it's at Cleveland as well. So, you don't have to go to McMinn to play. So what does sort of this home field advantage just do, Brittany?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a plus to be at home, playing at home. But again, McMinn really made a statement. I like that about them. They came out first game. That's what you always want to see is, you've had those scrimmage games, you had those jamborees, but they came out and made a statement and put points on the board. So, they're going to be ready. But again, Cleveland, as Coach mentioned, is you got to put those emotions aside. Last week is last week. This week is a new week, and come out ready to play.
So, that's a big matchup. It kind of feels more like David versus Goliath than it usually has, or maybe that it should. But it's going to be a good one. That is 7:30 tomorrow night at Benny Monroe Stadium. It'll be a good one. But also tomorrow night, the big one. Kicking off 30 minutes before that, you can watch it right here on mixtv.tv. Bradley Central hosting Walker Valley. Both these teams come off a big win. Bradley scored 53 points in the first half against Brainerd. Meanwhile, Walker Valley's defense sort of carried them against Notre Dame with 4 interceptions. Eli Denton shined. A fun little stat. Drew, you may not like this one. Bradley is 16-1 all-time versus Walker Valley.
I thought I was going to get to say that.
Oh, sorry. You can throw it in a second time. We don't hold any punches. But, Drew, big win for Walker Valley. First, just what were the vibes around the team after that win over Notre Dame?
It's just exciting to see the smiles. I mean, and it's like, our guys have come so far in the last 3 years, since Coach Akins and his staff took over. It's been a lot more enjoyable. It's been a lot of fun. the students are more involved, the cheerleaders, the band, everything just has come together really well. And so it was great. You know, any of us as coaches want to get that season started with a win. To any in any sport, to just so you can carry that momentum, you can have some fun, it's exciting, and then immediately we're switching gears over the weekend and getting our focus where it needs to be for the next game. And obviously this rivalry game comes a little bit early in the season, and it's fun because it's great for our community, it's great for the schools. In a way, I would kind of wish that Cleveland was on the road, so it's really
shut the town down.
Yeah, the only game in town, but it's part of it. So it'll be a fun night for both teams, both schools, and looking to keep it going.
Yeah, Brittany, we mentioned Bradley's thrashing of Brainerd, 53-13. I like to make a joke that Bradley got outscored in the second half by Brainerd. So Damon Floyd, they may need to get their guys together. Yeah. But all jokes aside, big win for Bradley. What does that do for them going into this week?
Yeah, it was a great team win. I mean, you look at that, they put the points on the board, but also, Alex Walker threw 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers.
That's a big one.
So that's huge, to be able to get everyone involved, just a good team win. But as you mentioned, being 16-1 against Walker Valley, I think, you've got to make sure you can't think about that because, you got a target on your back that makes them want to beat you even more.
Yeah.
So I think that Coach Floyd will have them ready, and they've got to traveling to Walker Valley. Yeah. So they had a great win, but you got to, again, as we talk, it's second game of the season, and you got to come ready to play just like you did the first.
Yeah, Derek, just a big rivalry game. How do you just control your emotions from both schools going into it? Because we see oftentimes it just gets out of hand, the rivalry week, trash talk on Twitter, all that stuff. How do you sort of stay out of that?
For me, it's easy because I stay off social media. For as a coaching standpoint, you really want to preach to the kids about, everything's between the lines. Everything's whatever it is, a court, a field, whatever, and you just put that emotion into your play and your teammates. And so I think a lot of the nonsense that we hear about is usually it's the student body. Yeah. It's the and unfortunately, it's sometimes it's a lot of the parents that get involved with it. But from a standpoint of the game and the town coming together, and then you get old like me, and it's your kids, friends' kids now playing in these games and stuff. So it's just great to watch, and especially for me because I don't carry the weight.
Yeah, yeah. Brittany, you've played in rivalry games like this, even at higher levels than high school. Just how fun is it as an athlete?
It is fun, but just as he mentioned, we talk about social media. We didn't have social media, so it made it much easier because you didn't read all this stuff and see all the stuff that's going on. Now the kids, like you said, student bodies and stuff, get them going. Whether they're, I know Bradley, I didn't even know about the alien at Cleveland that Bradley took, and Reggie's telling me about this, and I'm like, it's different, but it's exciting, and that's what makes it fun. Yeah. And I know it really pumps up both schools, and just I love these rival games. Yeah. And early in the season too, it's fun to just see what you got. See what you got early because it tests you early in the season. Second game, Bradley Walker Valley, I love it. Yeah. So it's exciting and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So Drew, without giving away your pick, even though you may have given it away already with the shirt, what's your key? What's your biggest key that you say if Walker Valley can come in and do this, they can upset Bradley?
I think we got to stay composed. I think we don't want to get too overhyped. A couple years ago when it was at Bradley, we played amazing.
Yeah.
Things were looking great for us, and then some emotions came into play late, and then some things didn't go our way. Then we just kind of faltered there down the backstretch. And so I think we got to stay composed. I think our guys have, if we could score early, that would be fun to get them rolling a little bit. But hey, it's a long game. And it's going to be loud. There's going to be a lot of people there. But understanding that, yes, it's a rivalry game, but these guys have all grown up together. Mm-hmm. As much as we want to win or they want to win, it's still the thing that, come Saturday, they're still going to talk.
Yeah.
They're still going to they're going to be together at church on Sunday or whatever the case may be. And so, but I think if we can get some momentum early, that's how we can kind of get things rolling in a good direction for us.
And then, Derek, is this one of those games where if you're Bradley, you come in and you say, if we play our game, we can beat this team just because of our talent?
100%. That's what it is. Bradley in this area for the last 6 years, if they play their game, they've been unbeatable. Yeah. So for them, it's not to overlook them. And when it's a rivalry game, you usually don't overlook them, especially this early, because they're all excited about it. So I'm not giving away my pick, but I think Bradley beats them.
Wow. Way to say you're not giving away, then give it away. But fun little note on this game that I think will be a little bit important is Alex Walker. He's making his second career start, so I mean it's safe to say he's never quarterbacked in a game of this magnitude. And then Evan Swartzel for Walker Valley. He's a transfer. He's never been a part of this sort of Bradley County rivalry. I mean, do you think that plays any part in this?
I think both those guys may be a little nervous.
Yeah.
Alex Walker has seen his sister played in these games for a long time, and they're a great family. And Evan sat behind Ryan last year and kind of took firsthand of how it went. But they neither one of them have been, like you said, calling the shots. And if both those guys, this is going to be a moment they'll never forget.
Yeah.
And it will be an exciting game for them, win or lose, and it'll be a thing that they'll tell their kids, way down the road.
Yeah.
So.
But it is for sure going to be an exciting game tomorrow. That is a 7 p.m. kickoff at Bradley Central. You can watch it right here on mixtv.tv. Coming up next, we are going to make our picks on even if some have already been given away, but we're going to make our picks on all 10 of these games and reveal our records from last week. Some are good, some are decent, but you said it's a long season, so we can get through it. You're watching the mixtv.tv high school football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan. We'll be right back with our picks.
This is Thomas Williams with Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Stop by today and take advantage of Bradley County's largest pre-owned inventory. Or visit cleveland-nissan.com, home of the lifetime warranty.
Remember Me Senior Care is Cleveland's first assisted living and memory care neighborhood. They specialize in assisted living for those who are still active with a community of indoor and outdoor activities. They also provide memory care living for those who are facing life with dementia. Learn more online at remembermesc.com or call their office and set up an in-person visit at 423-473-3140. Remember Me Senior Care, a culture of care your loved one deserves.
Wholesale Supply Group, you've heard the name for years. The experts trust them, and you should too. Whether you're building, remodeling, or just maintaining your home, Wholesale Supply Group has all the plumbing, electrical, and HVAC products you need to supply any project. With great brands like Delta, Kohler, Renai, Mansfield, Progress Lighting, Square D, GE, and Milwaukee, Wholesale Supply has everything you need. Check out the locations in Cleveland, Chattanooga, Athens, Dayton, Madisonville, Dalton, and Chatsworth. Online, wholesalesupply.us. And remember, Wholesale Supply is open to the public.
L&B Appliance is your one-stop appliance shop and HVAC dealer. Locally owned and operated, serving this area for over 30 years. They offer sales and service. L&B Appliance, located on Durkee Road at Highway 64 in Cleveland. 423-339-3231. L&B Appliance, large enough to meet all your home appliance needs, small enough to appreciate your business.
Hands. You might think they're just for waving, but they can be used for all kinds of things, like making made-from-scratch biscuits at Hardee's.
Bite into the new 2 for $5 breakfast deal only at Hardee's.
Welcome back to the mixtv.tv high school football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan. I'm your host, Ryan Lovelace, joined for the last time this evening by Derek Morris, Brittany Jackson-Turner, and Drew Linus.
Tucker, I'm going to...
Oh,
hey,
Tucker.
Okay,
did I say Turner the first time, too?
Listen, my dad's Turner. A lot of people do that, but I'm just going to... Yeah.
Next
Tucker.
episode, I will get it right all 3 times. That is my promise to you. That is my promise to you. I'll write it down on the table here. But, sorry. Derek Morris, Brittany Jackson, Tucker, and Drew Linus. And we are here to give us our picks. So first off, last week, Derek wasn't with us, and he sent in his picks, but that didn't stop him from going 8-2. The only games he missed were East Ridge and Cleveland. Drew was also 8-2. You missed Cleveland as well. You should have picked with your family. And then you picked Ray County over Alcoa. And then Brittany, 6-4 for you last week, but I'm feeling a bounce back week. And then I saved myself for last because I'm 9-1. Not to brag or anything. You know, I picked Notre Dame over Walker Valley, and that one got me. But hopefully we can all go 10-0 this week. So hopping right in, Baylor at Endsworth. This is a big one. Baylor travels up to Endsworth. Baylor ranked 4th in D2 AAA. Endsworth ranked 3rd. Top 5 matchup early in the year. Derek, who you going with?
All right, so Endsworth was close last year, and they just fell short to Baylor. So they're getting revenge this year at Endsworth.
Endsworth.
I'm saying they're traveling. It's at Endsworth. Home field advantage. Going with Endsworth.
And then I'll be a little different here. I'll pick Baylor. Go with the Chris Brown theory, my boy, the DC at Baylor. I'll pick Baylor to get the win.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
It should be a good game.
Oh, it's going to be a great game. Big Chris Brown fan. I think he's a great defensive coach. Endsworth, I like an underdog. They're not the underdog, but they lost to Baylor twice last year. They have home field advantage. I'm going to take Endsworth. Okay. Moving on, another big D2 3A matchup. Macaulay, they're ranked 4th in D2 AAA. They're ranked 1st in D2 AAA. That is wrong on the papers. Macaulay, they've won 3 straight state championships. They're going for 4 in a row. They've won 17 straight. They will travel to Finley Stadium just right across town, and they will host Woodward Academy from outside of Atlanta. They are 1-0. They went 11-1 last year. Derek, you think Macaulay falls at Finley?
You know, it's tough, especially when you don't know a lot about either one of them. But I do know Macaulay's streak has to end at some point. But not this week. Macaulay.
I thought. Brittany?
You know, Woodward Academy, I didn't know much about them until, some research, and they've got some studs, but I just don't think they're going to come and end that winning streak yet at Macaulay. I got to go with Macaulay.
Woodward Academy, fun fact, really nice campus.
Yeah.
Not as nice as Macaulay's. Really nice. But I'm going to go with Macaulay as well. Yeah.
Picking Woodward's high risk, high reward. You look like a genius if they win, but if they don't win, you picked against Macaulay, who's won 17 straight. I think Macaulay wins. It's at Finley. Macaulay's just good. So Macaulay all the way around for us. Cross-border matchup here. East Hamilton, they are hosting Heritage in Georgia. You mentioned E.K. Slaughter. We love E.K. Slaughter, but East Hamilton, they're very good. So, Derek, how you feeling?
Yeah, they are good. And you may not know this, but that's where I helped open East Hamilton. And,
oh, wow.
And I was there for 6 years, and I know a lot of those coaches, and I love them all, but I think Heritage is too much for them this week.
Stabbed in the back. I know. You did that back-to-back picks. You sort of lead one team on.
I do that. Hey, quick shout-out to Gerald Jones. He's doing better. Glad he's out of ICU last I heard. He had a heart attack in the middle of the game last week.
Wow.
Wow. Prayers for him.
Yeah. Well, Brittany?
My pick?
Yeah.
So, East Hamilton, like I said, I don't know much about it. I know East Hamilton is a great team. Heritage have not got to see play, but I think I'm going to go against Coach and go with East Hamilton.
Heck yeah.
And then I think it'll be I think these first 3 games we picked are all going to be really good games. I think I like the cross-state games, but I'm going to go with my boy EK. I think Heritage gets the win.
This is tough, I hope EK doesn't watch this, but I think if East Hamilton gets Lake Clark back for this game and they can run him at quarterback and Ballard at running back, I think they take it easily. But I don't know for sure, so I'm going to go out on a limb and hope they do. They have home field. I'm sorry, EK, but I'm going East Hamilton. Moving on, Sweetwater at Rockwood, 2 teams that I don't want to say we don't know much about, but as somebody who did some research on Rockwood, it was hard to find information for our packets here. But anyway, Sweetwater, they'll travel to Rockwood tomorrow night at 7:30. Rockwood is ranked 17th in the D1 2A polls. Sweetwater almost pulled an upset off against Meigs County last week. Meanwhile, Rockwood got a huge win over Oliver Springs. Derek, how are we feeling about this one?
Listen, after coaching for 20-something years, I know it's very hard to go to a small town and win. So I'm picking Rockwood at home.
Yeah. It's hard picking second.
I know.
Especially after Coach knows what he's talking about.
Sure.
It is. I think it's hard
Sure.
to get, like you said, home field advantage. I'm going to go with Rockwood. Even though I don't know anything about them, I'm feeling
Rockwood.
it.
I believe.
I'm
Whoa.
I would love to experience some of these small town games at some point, just to go watch and just to see it in person. But I'll go Rockwood as well, not with any reason, but I'll just roll with it. Roll with the momentum.
You know what? I am tired of the Sweetwater hate. They go to Decatur and almost upset Meigs County, and they're getting no respect. Give me Sweetwater because I feel like it, in spite of you guys. All right, Polk County at Sequoia. Polk County, they're pretty decent, off to a good start. Sequoia has not won a game since I was 14 years old. Derek, does Sequoia get a win?
Like I said, the streak has to end sometime, but not this week. Polk County, big.
Easy, Polk County.
Yeah, I think Derek Bessel's doing some great things at Sequoia, but I'm with these guys. I don't think they get that win. They'll get that win at some point this season, but Polk County moves to 2-0 this week.
The battle of Dereks, Derek Vestal versus Derek Davis. But yeah, Polk County gets a win, and I don't think it's necessarily a close game. Silverdale versus Franklin Road Academy, another team I didn't do very well researching. Franklin Road, they are ranked 8th in D2 AA, so higher ranked than Silverdale. Silverdale comes in 1-0. They open up their season with a win over East Ridge. Meanwhile, Franklin Road beat Nashville Christian Academy in a close game, 29-24. This game is at Silverdale. How are we feeling about it, Coach Morris?
You know, I picked against Silverdale last week and was very wrong, so I'm going with them this week.
And I picked with them and won, and they gave me a win, so I'm sticking with them this week. Silverdale.
Yeah, I think Silverdale gets another W this week.
I think Silverdale's offense is legit. If that defense can hold up, I think they win by a lot. But either way, I'm taking Silverdale, and that makes all four of us. Maybe for the first time since Macaulay. Meanwhile, Mcminn Central and our boy, friend of the show, Matt Moody, they lost a tough one to Mcminn County last week. They're facing off against Tellico, who had a big comeback win. They scored 27 unanswered to beat Sequoia. How are we feeling? Are we feeling a bounce back from Mcminn Central,
I do
Coach?
feel a bounce back for Mcminn Central. I think it might be a close game, as always, but I think Mcminn pulls it out.
I like my guy Moody. I do think Tellico Plains, especially quarterback going down, Landon Holland, left with an injury. New quarterback steps up. I think they've got a little bit of momentum, but I'm going to stick with Mcminn Central.
I think one big thing that Coach Moody wants to do is he wants to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Being an offensive guy that he is, and they may win 7-0.
Right, that's a touchdown.
But it's still a W. It's still a win. I think Coach Moody and Mcminn Central gets the W this week.
I like it. In Moody we trust, so we need show T-shirts. Austin, can you look into that? I'm going Mcminn Central. Tellico, I don't think they have the depth. Really small school. I'm taking the Chargers. Ottawa Red Bank. This is a fun one. I actually have a lot of information about both teams here. You're welcome, guys. Red Bank coming off the big win. They are hosting Ottawa, who's coming off the big loss. Sort of a David versus Goliath. How are we feeling about it?
Red Bank's got momentum going. I think I like Ottawa Owls, but I think Red Bank wins big.
Mm.
I like the energy. I like as Drew talked about. They capitalized. They had a lot of energy. They were really fired up to come out and beat Cleveland. They did that. I think the momentum helps coming into this next game. I'm going with Red Bank.
Yeah. And as much as I love Goose Manning and Ottawa and what he's doing and how he's building that program, I think this one could get ugly. I think Red Bank wins, pretty big.
Yeah, I think Red Bank is a special team this year. They're ranked 8th in 4A already. I think they beat Ottawa pretty handily. Moving on, in Bradley County, we got a big one. Cleveland and Mcminn County. That has been a rivalry that's been going on for a while. That is a 7:30 kickoff tomorrow. We just mentioned it. Cleveland, a tough loss to Red Bank where they turned the ball over 5 times. Meanwhile, Mcminn coming off a 50-0 shutout win over their crosstown rival, Mcminn Central. Mcminn County is ranked 8th in 5A. Derek, you going to pick against your shirt?
No. Or my paycheck.
Smarter than that.
Or his paycheck.
No, Cleveland, I think they rally this week. It's another home game for them. McMinn's got to travel. They got senior leadership. They're going to clean up the mistakes, and they're going to keep it close, and they're going to pull it out in the fourth quarter.
Again, I hope a lot of Cleveland people, and my husband's not watching this because I'm betting against him this week. I am going with Mcminn. They scored 50 points.
Yeah.
They're going to come ready to play. I'm going Mcminn.
I think it should be a fun game for both teams, but I think Mcminn County may have a little bit more firepower than Cleveland, so I'm going to go with Bo Cagle and Mcminn.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think this game is going to be a lot closer than it looks on paper. I feel like Wheeler will get his guys ready, like you said, but I still think Mcminn is just too star-studded on the offensive side of the ball. I think they go to Benjamin Rose Stadium, and I think they come out with their second win of the season.
A lot of friends.
I know. I picked against Cleveland twice in a row. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I think Mcminn comes out with a win there. And then the big one, you can watch it right here on mixtv.tv. 7 p.m. kickoff. Bradley Central hosting Walker Valley at Bear Stadium. Both teams coming off big wins. Big offensive performance from Bradley. Big defensive performance from Walker Valley last week. Those two will clash. I mentioned right here on mixtv.tv. Derek.
Well, listen, Bradley's become that team. Unless you're a fan and you went there, you go for them to lose. You're always hoping for them to lose.
Amen.
Walker Valley's really improving, and they're getting better. They're just not in that stratosphere yet. Bradley, big.
Yeah, I always get advice. I always call my dad anytime I'm talking football because he knows, and he gives me a humble, honest, and he said, listen, this is going to be a good game. And I believe it's going to be a tough game. Walker Valley's going to give Bradley, all they can take, but Bradley comes out with a win.
And Derek said a couple times tonight, he said, all streaks need to come to an end. And we kind of preach that to the girls that I coach. And when we're playing Cleveland or Bradley, at some point, Walker Valley's going to get that win. And why not us? Why not this week? Why not tomorrow night? And that's what Coach Akins and those guys are wanting to do. And, you want to get in that signature crosstown rival win, and why not this week? And so I'm gonna go with our Stains, and hopefully we can be celebrating Friday night.
Yeah, I think one of you guys hit on it earlier that just in the past 6 years, it was you, Derek. If Bradley comes out and does what they need to do, they just win. And I think that speaks a lot to Damon Floyd. He always has his guys ready to go. It never feels like a moment is too big for them in a rivalry game. I remember seeing them go down early against Cleveland and bouncing back just because it wasn't too big for them. And I don't think tomorrow night's too big for them either. I think they handle Walker Valley. It's at Bradley. Tough place to play. I think the Bears come out on top. We have a lot of great games tomorrow night. Baylor at Endsworth, Macaulay versus Woodward Academy, East Hamilton versus Heritage. Those are going to be 3 fun games. And then we got some smaller matchups. Sweetwater at Rockwood, Polk County at Sequoia, Silverdale versus Franklin Road Academy, Mcminn Central versus Tellico, Ottawa at Red Bank, and then our 2 big ones in Bradley County, Cleveland hosting Mcminn County, and then Bradley Central hosting Walker Valley. You can watch that game right here on mixtv.tv. From all of us here at Mix TV, for my co-hosts, Derek Morris, Brittany Jackson Tucker, Drew Linus, Gideon Ratcliffe behind the camera, Austin Chadwick running graphics, this has been the mixtv.tv High School Football Thursday nights driven by Mountain View Nissan. We will see you next week, and have a great weekend, everybody.